All right, let's move on to organization of memory. Now, this is for how we tend to organize declarative memories, things we can actually vocalize. We don't know a lot about how you can organize non-declarative memory. And we also know a lot more about semantic connections than we do episodic memories. Memory is complicated, guys. So one of the ways that we might represent memory in the brain are through some connectionist theories. So these describe ways that memories are organized together. They see this mind as an interconnected network of smaller, simpler units. And they tend to kind of group these units together based off overlapping features, things they have in common. Now, there's a model called the spreading activation model, which says that people tend to organize their general knowledge about things based on their own individual experiences. So we all have slightly different ways that these words connect in our minds. So for instance, let's say I gave you the concept of red. What do you think about when you think of red? Well, maybe red makes you think of fire engines, or maybe fire itself, or roses, or maybe the color orange, it's similar to red, or sunsets, or apples. Now, each of those can have their own words that are associated with them. Maybe a fire engine, you think about other emergency vehicles. With orange, you might think of other related colors, that kind of thing. So this is kind of an idea that concepts, then when you think of the word red, for instance, activate closely related concepts. So if you think the word red, your neurons in your brain that are firing for orange or fire engine are like ready to go. They're like ready to be activated. And the closer there's a relation, so the shorter line that there is, the faster that next piece is going to activate. So there's going to be a faster reaction from red to fire engine than there is if you think of red and then need to produce street or something. So this is what we call the spreading activation model. Now, a larger way that our memories can be organized is what we call in schemas. So like we talked about in sensation and perception, our brain takes a lot of shortcuts and it relies on a lot of context and past experiences to make sense of new information, right? So one of the ways we do this is through these schemas, which are sets of expectations about how objects or situations typically go. We have schemas for a variety of things for restaurants or what you do in an airport or what football games are typically like, etc. Either from personally experiencing these things or through seeing them depicted on TV, that type of thing. So for instance, let's say you go to a restaurant. We have a general schema for the steps of a restaurant, what should happen. So first, maybe we're taken to a table, we sit down at a table, then our waiter will come and bring us a menu, then we'll order food and we'll get that food brought to us. And then after we eat our food, we'll get a bill, right? There are different steps, expectations of what should happen. So if instead you got your bill when you first sat down, you'd be confused, right? That doesn't fit your expectation. That's because our brain is taking shortcuts and kind of relying on our past experiences of what should happen. Now we also have schemas about objects too. So let's say I told you that I got a new cat. What comes to your mind first? What do you picture if I got a new cat?